Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome to the Filmbusters podcast. The film show with no filters, no prisoners taken, loads of disagreements, but one hell of a love for cinema.
If you want to hear three friends ridiculing each other for an hour or so regarding their taste in films, then you have come to the right place.
In each episode, one of the team picks a film for us to discuss. It could be anything from a recent cinema release to an all-time classic.
So, strap in and get ready to get mad or get vindicated as we guide you through the murky world of being a film geek.
If you like what you hear, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram using @FilmbustersPod. You can also find each of our individual accounts. I'm at Filmbusters Paul.
I'm at Filmbusters Adam.
And I'm at Filmbusters Ben.
If you want to use your eyes instead of your ears, you can also visit the website at filmbusterspod.co.uk.
And if busting makes you feel good, you can also support us at patreon.com/filmbusters for exclusive content.
Alright, can we just get on with this now, please?
Filmbusters.
Hello, wonderful listeners. This is our Filmbusters episode post 4th of July. We've had our barbecues, we've had our hot dogs, we've had our fireworks celebrating the end of the monarchy in the United States of America. So here I am with my co-hosts Ben and Adam. How are you guys doing?
Welcome.
Yeah, good. I didn't realise that you were such a fan of America, Paul.
You're a patriot.
Cool. Yeah,
I'm a fan of fireworks.
Okay. And Eagles.
Yes.
Patriotic Eagles, yes.
Yeah.
What did you guys do to celebrate July 4th?
When was it? Friday.
It was.
I went to work and then went out to a friend's birthday.
You did celebrate then. You had some drinks, so you celebrated 4th of July.
I celebrated a friend, not America. We celebrate the death of a monarchy in a different way, if it actually happens.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, 4th of July is... What is it? This is ignorance. What is it? What is the celebration?
From England. It's when they fucking kicked us out of the country. They gained independence from us.
I mean, I did know that. I don't really know why I asked that like I was really stupid.
It's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's the one that's a bit...
Thanksgiving throws me off, yeah. I mean, we do nothing. Obviously, we do nothing for 4th of July over here. We don't do anything for any of our days. We don't.
No, we don't even really do St. George's Day.
No. Do you know what St. George's Day is, Julio?
I have no idea.
That is
he's
like the
patron saint of England. Yeah, he killed a dragon once.
Yeah, so totally happened.
It sounds like a big deal. Yeah,
but he's actually from Lebanon as well, isn't he?
Isn't he from Palestine?
Oh, I knew it was somewhere in the Middle East area.
I think he is, which is interesting.
Yes,
that all the really racist, bald-headed Englishmen
love him.
Love the guy from Palestine, which is very ironic. I was recovering. I had a very big hangover on Friday, but I went to a karaoke bar the night before, which I never do. And I was so drunk, I couldn't even focus on the songs that were in the registry. And I was flipping through, and I'm like, I have to sing something. I have this compulsion.
He's got like 20 people waiting for behind him. Like, pick a fucking song.
And then I did. Now get this. So I did Purple Rain.
That's a hard song to do at karaoke.
I know, I can't
tell
how well I did.
No one's joining in with that either.
I don't know. But then the guy, after me, got up and did Purple Rain. And I thought, that's a line I don't think you crossed.
Do you reckon he just didn't know how to change the song and it just pressed enter and it just happened and he's like, fuck.
Much more likely he hated what he heard and he was like, I need to correct
the universe.
Oh, man.
Prince just called him up from beyond the grave. He's like, fuck this guy.
Why did you do an Oasis song? They just started tour?
We should have. I should have done that. But I would leave that to the boys. Is Alex, your faithful co-host, is he going to one of the gigs in America?
He's going to 2 of them. He's going to... Wow. He got tickets to one in... Oh, God, I don't remember now. He's doing one in the States, and then he's hopping over to whatever they're doing in Canada. So it's like almost 2 consecutive dates.
Wow.
Yeah.
When's that? When does he go?
It's before the break, right? Because they take a break. There's like a 1-month break in the tour.
You gonna go with him?
No, I mean, I guess if I was as much of a fan of Oasis, I would have considered it. But he's going with Sister, which I think it's probably a better pairing.
Yeah.
I would just.
I mean, it will be one hell of a gig. I'm very jealous of Adam as well. I mean, it's the hardest thing to get tickets for.
I mean, I
tried
wouldn't
so
give
hard,
up yet.
but-
I mean, I think they're going to release some more tickets. They keep saying, or they're doing more dates. It will happen.
I know it has been very emotional. I've watched many clips many times, and it is very it's very emotional.
There is something at the beginning. I thought,
oh,
this is just like seeing any Liam gig or Noel gig, and then after a while you're like, nah, it's slightly different.
No.
There's a little bit of a different.
There's a magic there. So no Oasis for me. But on topic with today's film, one thing that I was doing yesterday. Let's connect everything back. Bricks and putting bricks in places and manoeuvring them is the subject of today's film. But yesterday it was the subject of my evening because I've never played Giant Jenga before. But
I saw your
went
pictures.
to Giant Jenga, and it was to celebrate the opening of Stacey of Rock Leopard's taproom.
Is he the one who came on
Over
the
in-
podcast?
The one who came on the podcast to talk all things Tony Scott, and we were building blocks and building Jenga bricks all throughout the evening, and it's a fine way to spend a balmy Saturday night in Thamesmead, which, when I was there, this guy just wandered up to the bar and started drinking with us. He's like 65 years old, very eccentric, and he was like, yeah, I was one of the last projectionists in the cinemas over here, and he was like, oh, you're a film buff, are you? We were talking for a while, and he was like, do you not realise where you're sitting? And I'm looking around, I'm like, no. And he was like, this is where pretty much all of Clockwork Orange was shot. And I'm like, oh my
What?
God. it
What,
is.
like the block?
Thamesmead, yeah, where Alex and his droogs are, that whole area. I'm like, oh my God. I had to walk down to the river. I'm like, that's the river where they kicked Alex into the river. Wild stuff.
Did you try and
Anyway.
recreate it with Jenny or not?
No, she would more likely kick me in, I would think. But yeah, any London people, get down there. Boulder Bar, Thamesmead, support Rock Leopard, support Stacey. Great man. He'll talk Tony Scott films with you all night and be wrong about them all as well.
Everybody's wrong in your opinion, Ben.
No. Everyone can have their opinion. So, all right, let's address the elephant in the room. Paul is sick. He's not here. He's unwell.
He doesn't sell so unwell that he's become American, though. However, so we have
I know.
a wonderful. guest
We
with
have
us.
Julio.
Paul celebrated 4th of July a little too hard. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened. He really did do it. He really did. There's nothing he loves more than celebrating America's independence. He can't get enough of it.
I think it's the other way around. I think he celebrates the British Empire too much, and he's still sad that we lost America.
Yeah, that's definitely sounds like him.
Just couldn't
So
face it.
we have Julio. We have Julio from the Contrarians.
Yes.
So welcome back, Julio, for like the 7th time, maybe. That's
Maybe.
a guess.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. This is as we were discussing right before we press record, there's a new configuration. It's usually Adam that's absent when I'm here.
And if I'm here,
he's
I normally don't like the film you've picked.
Or you haven't even watched it. So
Yeah.
we'll see
I
how
turned
many.
it off. There's a difference.
Yes. We'll see how many
Yeah.
boxes we ticked. As I was trying to figure out which movie to bring, I'm like, this might be the one that Adam likes. Like,
It's so inoffensive that like
no, you don't like Donnie Darko. When you said your clip,
Yeah.
you actually were pretty positive on it. So,
yeah.
but now you're here to actually
Yeah,
elaborate live. So,
Yeah.
Ben, I don't know. I think with Ben it could go either way, and I think this would be something that Paul would enjoy. So,
Do you want to introduce the film then? Let everyone know what it is, what we're talking about.
it's a mouthful. It's called Ecstasy of Order, the Tetris Masters. And
Okay.
I'm glad that you had that to hand because, yeah, I just realised that I don't know the title of the film. Yeah. I've already forgotten it. The Ecstasy of Order.
Yeah.
Ecstasy of Order,
Ecstasy of
the Tetris Masters. I am very curious how you guys found it. How did you guys watch it? Because when I first gave it to Paul, I was like, I don't know if you are going to be able to stream it. It's not streaming a whole lot here, but thankfully it was in a couple places. So,
It's actually on YouTube in its entirety.
Okay, that's great.
In great quality.
Okay, because
Is that how you watched it, Adam?
Yeah. I just followed the link. I forgot what the film was called, Ben.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you
I
sent the
sent
link
the
in the
link.
thing, so I had to keep
Yeah.
going back. I was like, there it is.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because I figured worst case scenario, I know that they hosted on their website the movie has their website from when they first launched it, and it's still active. And that might be just a link to the YouTube. I don't know. I just remember seeing that, and I was like, all right, that's an option.
I think you have to pay through it through the website. Okay. Which is possibly why I couldn't do it, because I think I went there originally and it was like a link that I couldn't do it. But anyway, any listeners in America, go ahead.
Probably it might be on YouTube worldwide. I don't know how YouTube works rights-wise. Is it not when you put a video?
It works worldwide, right? I know sometimes they say this isn't available in your country.
There's some videos that play all over the world.
America get everything, though. They
maybe, I guess. Yeah. I remember finding Hellraiser 3 for free here in the United States. Bookmarked it, went home to visit my family in Peru, and it wouldn't load. It was just like, nope, you're not allowed to watch it here. Man. So
that sucks.
No.
I was at an airport for a changeover once, and I had access to that. I can't even remember where it was. That country's Netflix for a very brief window of time, and was able to download a film from there and watch it when I got back.
Yeah,
in England for free.
I remember doing that in Spain with a film that came out not long ago. With I can't remember what her name was now, and I thought, oh sweet, this has just come out in the cinemas here in the UK. I'll download it in Spain. Didn't realise it was all in Spanish though. It didn't have any English subtitles as an option. So it was a complete waste of time.
Julio, this is consecutively the second time you have brought a documentary to the podcast. We've only done 2 documentaries on the podcast, and both of them have come courtesy of you. Are you on a documentary run at the moment?
I was like, what was the first one? Oh yeah, American movie.
American movie, yeah, very good.
No, I have it's a coincidence. I have a list of movies that I keep as far as like movies I would like to hear you talk about, and I check on their availability.
Nice.
As far as like streaming and also just how it fits with whatever you guys are doing, what year, and so it just happened. Paul sent me the years that were available, and I looked and this is the first time, I don't remember when was the last time I checked, but this is the first time that I saw that Ecstasy of Order was streaming anywhere. And so I got pretty excited. I was like, all right, it usually takes me a while. I'll give you like several options, but I'm like, okay, we'll do this one. And if this doesn't work, then we'll try something else. So it was not planned. I mean, with American Movie, it was more of, I think he showed me the list. One of you showed me the list of, what do you call them? Your blind spots, the
Baccarat blind spots,
yeah. With American Movie, I think one of you showed me the list of movies that you had coming up in the future, as far as like things that neither of you had seen, but it was and I was just I couldn't believe that you guys hadn't seen it, so that's why I put it up there, because I think it's one of those kind of iconic documentaries, at least for me, because when I watched it, it was eye-opening as far as how much I could enjoy a documentary. And I mean, obviously, you guys had your own mixed reception. And as I was listening to that episode, I was talking back to you and just going like, no, but don't you get it?
Wait, but no, hang on. We all liked it, didn't we?
You did get it. You did get it. And you just didn't. You didn't feel it the way that I felt it.
No, I mean, that was
yeah. That is, which is fine. I mean, it's Mark. He's gone on to have a little bit of notoriety post. American. He became one of those
style.
Yeah. He became one of those talking heads for a while, where people would just put him on those shows where he would show up to say something funny or give his own take on a movie or whatever. And I don't know what he's doing, over the past decade, but he was he survived American Movie. It was not a thing where like, oh, they just made fun of him in that movie, which I don't think that they make fun of him. I think that it's a very
I think it's a love letter to him. I think he's making a love letter to cinema, and I think it is that the whole film is a little love letter to him. There is a lovely little 5-minute clip of him talking in recent years about the importance of just following your creative vision, like the Jim Cummings School of Filmmaking. Like, just do it, and it's very inspiring. And it's like, I love you, man. Keep doing your thing, even if your product is going to be something I never want to watch. I need to protect people like you in this world. You need to keep doing stuff. Like that. Can you remember what the old man said in the car? The most important thing from that film.
It's okay. It's all right. There's something to live for. Jesus told me so.
God, Julio, you just smacked that out of the park. Wow.
I couldn't even remember it 5 minutes after watching it.
No, that was a line that my friends and I kept quoting to each other just for fun.
Oh man, so good. Well, we'll draw some comparisons, no doubt. Anyway, but yeah, so we're talking documentary again today, folks. So that's how you can check it out. Go and find it on YouTube. Go and visit the official website. See what you can see. We'll be talking all about it in a second. But first of all, we got to go to the quiz, the staple of every episode, which is the quiz. I'm hoping Paul asked you to prepare some questions, Julio.
He did not, but I did because
Okay.
I figured.
Good. Okay.
I figured we needed to take care of business here. So,
Excellent stuff. So before that then, let me give you the scores. So folks, anyone who doesn't know, every episode, 2 questions are asked. This year, I'm asking them of Adam and Paul, but in Paul's absence, Julio will ask them to me and Adam. And it will impact the scoreboard. And based on the quiz winner that year, they get to pick a fancy thing for us all to do the following year. This year's prize, have we made that public yet? Did we say in the last episode we just weren't going to say it? Julio, have you heard what we're doing?
No, I don't think so.
Because I won the quiz this year. So
we just tell people?
Yeah, well, let's announce it. So because this is the first year that we're officially... it's to give us more of an impetus to win the quiz. So because I won it this year, we are all going to see... Last year, yes. We're all going to see the Terminator live orchestra performance with the guy Brad something, the composer of Terminator.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know he was there. I just thought it was Terminator with an orchestra.
No, it's him. He's there with the drums. The whole thing is an incredible drum setup. It gets rave reviews, so that's very exciting. We're going to go and do that in a couple of months' time, I think.
Yeah. Well, how is that your prize? Or is it because you chose?
He chose the
I got
event.
to choose it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if next year, if Adam wins this year, which won't happen, but if he does, then he can pick next year's big spectacular, whatever.
I think it's got to be within like however much money we got left over in the Patreon bucket, like 60 quid or something.
How much money we got from the patrons? That's it. Well, at the moment, Paul is bang on to pick things because he has got 12 points, Adam has 6 points, and I have 4. But things might change.
Ooh.
Let's see what Julio's going to do.
Ben, you're getting destroyed this year.
Decimated.
Paul keeps giving himself points as well, though. I'm going to keep saying this every time. He changes the scores when he's editing this podcast.
Yeah, Paul is going to be so mad when he's editing this right now with you saying that as well.
I'm going to say it until he changes
oh,
it.
because you gave him points for picking an animal.
Yeah, the tiger.
And you didn't give me points for the radiator question.
All right, so I have 2 regular questions, 1 2-part question, so you have to get both parts correct to get the point. And then I have a question that I think is pretty hard, but I was thinking it could be an all or nothing. So basically, you can choose, and if you get it right, the other person loses all the points that they gained. You get all the points.
It's never easy with you in the quizzes, is it? It's never just everyone gets a point and everyone moves on.
That's lovely. I like that, Riz, though. Like that, steal the points at the end. Let's go for it. Let's go all in. Are you happy to do that, Adam?
Yeah, let's go. Let's see what it is.
All right. That's it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Question number 1. What's the name of the company that keeps track of all the high scores?
Twin Galaxies.
Yes, Adam got it.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I knew it was something Galaxies. I was like, yeah.
All right.
Excellent work.
Question number 2. What's the name of the Tetris variant where pieces become invisible after they land?
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Is it not? I would say Grandmaster, but no, it's not that. That's what the guy got for winning it, but I can't remember now. No.
I thought it was just Invisible Tetris.
No.
Okay. What is it?
That's it? You both give up?
Yeah.
Adam, you had it. It's Tetris the Grandmasters.
I said the answer then.
Julio's
Do I get
coming
the
and
point?
playing with fire now. Julio's pulling points away for you, Adam.
Do I get the point?
I don't know, Ben. Should he get the point?
I kind of said, I
I
say
feel
the
like he
grandma.
did
He
say that.
literally
yeah.
said it, but he was like, I know this isn't it, but okay. We'll give Adam the point.
We'll allow him that. Yeah, give it to him. I think
I
he can
thought he
have
just
it.
got the Grandmaster because he completed Tetris normally. Yeah, that's why I was getting confused.
Yeah. All right. This one is a 2-part question. Okay, so you have to get both right. If not, the point goes to Paul. So
Right.
these are questions about Ben Mueller's thoughts about life and the way he lives life. So the
Okay.
first one is, how does Ben Mueller think every game of Super Mario 3 should end?
but with Mario jumping in the hole after Bowser.
Yes.
Jumping into the abyss. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And the second part is, what did he learn specifically to impress women?
Rubik's Cube.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
but it's a two-part question, and you got the second bit.
We'll have half
All right.
a point each.
Let's do this then. To decide who gets that point, we'll do that final question. The tough one.
okay.
Okay.
Are we clearing
Okay.
points, or are we just doing this to win the other points?
We'll just do it to see who. So whoever gets this gets the point for the previous one, and and if none of you gets it, then it goes to Paul.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Still on Ben Mueller. He ends his participation in the tournament because he gets hit with what they call a draft, Lombard piece draft. Do you remember how many pieces?
40.
Okay, I think it is in the 40s, but I think it's 47.
You both got it wrong. 36.
Oh, what?
Oh.
Oh, bastard. I thought it was 40.
All right.
So that
It
means
was 40 in
that,
the demonstration one then, that they did. One earlier.
I think that's
didn't
when
they?
you see Robin, when Robin is playing
Robin
earlier,
doing it,
when they're
yeah.
first explaining what the draft is. All right.
nice questions.
So Adam wins 2 points, puts him at 8. Paul wins 1 point, 13. Ben, 0 points, 4.
Man.
But you got
that's
one
harsh.
of them right. You got
And that's only because I
Super
jumped
Mario.
in the Rubik's Cube.
I would have got the Rubik's Cube thing. Very
I
good.
got the Mario part. I just...
Oh well, I was grappling at the end of that answer because I wasn't sure if that guy was called Bowser or not.
Really? You don't? You're
Is that
not
what he's
100%.
called, Bowser?
Yeah, it's Bowser.
Yeah, because I was a Sega guy. I didn't do Nintendo growing up. I didn't do the old Mario.
Wow.
I certainly did
Yeah, but you
Tetris.
surely played Mario Kart since or something like that.
Well, we're going to talk about video games undoubtedly in a second, aren't we? So, well, thank you very much for that, Julio. That is the quiz, and now we will go ahead and talk about Ecstasy of Order, Tetris Masters.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe that Tetris may well be the first virtual sport.
We always have wondered why the biggest game in the world didn't have a champion.
It's the only video game that can be described as perfect, right? Because how would you improve it?
Not just a game, it's a history, it's an evolution.
I've been playing Tetris for like 20 years.
I don't even want to know how many hours I've played Tetris.
I play like nonstop.
The one trick to training in Tetris is to be always almost dead.
I daydream during the day. I'll sit and play Tetris in my head. I have Tetris dreams at night.
The mind kind of has like a buffering kind of RAM situation.
Yeah, it is almost a degree of like you're programming yourself to do it.
Things are changing, it's really fluid, and it just is always like morphing into a new thing that you're just constantly reacting to.
You have to think 4 or 5 steps ahead in 1 second.
It's moving faster than onlookers can actually perceive the game. These guys are thinking it.
Right. So, Adam, are you going to give us the rubbish plot summary?
Well, I mean, Julio, do you want to explain it or do you want me to explain it?
Oh, no,
I think I know the
Adam.
answer.
Yeah, I think that listeners tune in to hear you explain it. You have to give the
I
summary.
mean, I'm going to say I'll explain it, but it's a documentary. You can't really, there's not going to be twists and turns or something. This is about the best people in the world. Well, I'm going to use that loosely. The best people in America playing Tetris. They don't seem to focus on possibly that anyone else in the world could play this game. There's one guy gets them all together, the doctor, whatever his name is, gets them all together, and he wants to definitively find out who the best Tetris player of all time is. They've all got different records, but he gets them together and he's like, who is the best Tetris player?
It wasn't a bad summary, mate.
No, that's how the movie starts. I think that's basically where it ends. But stuff happens in between.
Yeah. Well, we talk about the stuff that happens. It's not a plot, is it? I'm describing it beat for beat.
I don't have too much kind of colour for what was going on behind the scenes. And I don't even want to bring it up because it's so sort of like basic. I think some of it might just come up naturally when we're talking about things. But the key thing is, we know already. Don't say your score for listeners, but we know that you're clearly a fan. what is it about the film, Julio? What do you like about it? First impression kind of thing, and then you can decide who else gives first impressions, and we'll
you can
dive
go
in.
last, and we can go first.
Well, I'll give you.
True.
I'll give you the color. I'll give you the color, and then we'll actually go.
Great.
And the color is that the only reason I know of the existence of this movie, because I know Tetris. I've played Tetris, but it's not like I'm a Tetris connoisseur or just like a fan, somebody that keeps track of like the scores and who's the best in the world or anything. But this movie premiered at the Austin Film Festival, and I just happened to be there the year that it premiered, and I just happened to walk into the screening, not because I had any sort of investment in the movie, but I was just thinking, okay, well, let's, we had a slot that we had to fill, whatever options we had to watch. This one was the one that called to my friends and I the most. So we just went to the movie, not really knowing anything about it other than it seemed to be about Tetris. And they had, when the movie was over, they had a few people in attendance. So I am pretty sure that Thor was there for the Q&A after. And I know for a fact that Ben wasn't there because later he didn't even have social media. And we found out later that he created a Twitter account just so he could like log in and see what people were saying about the movie.
Nice.
Yeah. And then they had because it was their premiere party. So then they had their after the premiere, the actual party, they had rented a bar and they had set up arcade machines with Tetris. And so people could just go and play Tetris surrounded by the guys that had made the documentary. So I'm not saying that's what that movie has, the score that has, with me, but it's definitely part of its history with me. And
man, there's no way that it doesn't affect it. I'm not saying it in a bad way, but like that's such a cool little experience to have connected to the film. That's going to complete it even more so.
When I was watching this film, I was thinking, why has Julio brought this to the podcast? Like, maybe we'll discuss this in a minute. Is it like, am I going to watch this and you're going to be in it? Or like you're gonna have made it, or just something like that. I was just thinking because I looked at like Letterboxd, it's only got like 1,000 people who've watched it. And I'm like, this is such a low level film, like beyond anything you'd ever bring to the podcast. There has got to be a personal reason why. Yeah,
I thought Julio knows one of these gamers, and he's going to reveal.
Or Alex is going to be in it, or something like that, and that was going to be.
Well, oh God, what's his name? The eventual winner. He is.
Jason,
he looks a lot like Alex. That was when we watched the movie.
Oh yeah, he does.
Is it Jason?
No, his name. His name is Jonas.
Jonas. Jonas looks a lot like a young Alex Mattis. And actually, after we were done, watching the movie, we would, because he's on the poster. He's one of the posters, screenshots, and whatever. We would just take pictures of that and send them to Alex. I was like, hey, you didn't tell us that you were a big Tetris fan and that you were in a documentary. So. Again, that does not affect how I feel about the movie, but it's a memory I have of that's the movie where Alex plays Tetris. But no, that's my connection with it. And it's a movie that it's hard to recommend to people because, like I said, usually I would just look it up and it's not streaming anywhere. So where do I send you? Right? Even I'm pretty sure that thing where you can get it through their website was not always available because I would have found out, much sooner. So it's whenever. I think it's a lot of fun and necessary to talk about the big movies, but every now and then just sneaking like a smaller movie and trying to give it more of an audience, it's a fun thing to do. So,
well, listen, it's perfect because we never would have watched this. It wouldn't have even come across our bow. There's no way. I don't think it would have come across our bow at any point other than in this situation. So that's why we got you here, man. So what orders do you want?
All right.
First impressions.
I'm going to do Adam, Ben, Julio. Alphabetical.
Okay. ABJ. Let's go, Adam.
I've watched something slightly similar to this beforehand. I think it was either something to do with the gamings of that thing. And it reminds me a lot of those I think this is a very era of talking about old games that were a lot. It doesn't feel like they would normally talk about what was lost. This is celebrating. And what year was this made? 2011, obviously.
2011,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like it was filmed like mid-2000s. It felt, Well, maybe that's just they're using old technology throughout the film. They're using old Nintendos and all of that. I've lost my train of thought already.
King of Kong, is that what you're thinking of?
Maybe it was King of Kong. That was kind of...
It came around the same sort of time, I think.
Those kind of
I think
things.
King of Kong might be 2009, maybe?
Yeah. And I watched I don't know if you maybe talk about this again. There's a film on Apple TV about the making of the guy who founded Tetris and how he's kind of got fucked over along the years by the Communist Party of Russia and all of that, and the Americans that tried taking it off him because they were like, oh, we can make this into a proper game, but no one really owned it, kind of thing. But yeah, I think it's actually quite fascinating. You got some quite good personalities throughout the documentary, and you do get quite invested by the end of it. I really don't know much else to say on first impressions. I think this is going to lead open more to discussions as we just kind of roll throughout. But it is.
Were you rooting for someone as the tournament went on?
I will say I didn't like. I was like, who's this four guy? He's off into the distance, and then he turned up, and you get his backstory, and you're like, oh, okay, fair play. I kind of want you to like I get why you kind of disappeared a little bit. I also quite like Harry, but then he got a bit arrogant towards. Is it Harry?
Yes, Harry.
Yeah,
he got too arrogant towards the end, in my opinion. He was a bit too sore in the losing of it. Well, it was a bit more of a celebration of, people rather than I think he was getting a bit too invested in it. But yeah.
You said earlier on, Adam, a film about, to use Paul's word, I think, lovely people, and that's kind of what it felt like. Like there was no bad guy in it. Like there were no villains. It was kind of like just competitors, but really it was community. Like they were all just.
They'd all been pushed out, and they'd come back through Tetris, like their lives.
Yeah, but they're all just. We're against one another, but we all love this thing, this niche, weird thing, which loads of people know about, but nobody would ever focus in.
Tetris is pretty.
No, but to have that passion to play it on the daily so much. Yeah, I mean that's a community. Like I've played Tetris, you guys have played Tetris, but I would never consider myself. Oh yeah, I love Tetris. It's like, well, I liked it. I played it a bunch. Whereas all of these people are just real nice. However, the film only won me over properly once the competition began, because when we were like it's like an hour in before they get to the competition, I kept thinking, have I missed something? Because I was pretty sure they were going to be competing, but what we keep seeing are these get-togethers, and they're always playing Tetris, right, in different environments. So I'm like, is this the competition? Are they doing it? Have they started it? And I was like, there surely would be some explanation if they've started the competition. But then when you get the reveal and they all go there at the end, I was like, okay, wow. Not only is this excellently set up, because you have all the screens, you have all the drama of like a choreographed narrative sports film, but you start feeling for the people when they're dropping out. And the fact that Thor, after everything, like Adam was just saying, his story, is one of the first to drop out and who
and he kind of got fucked over as well. I did feel for him. Like again, who was it? You mentioned it in the questions, but like, who was his name? Ben who got fucked over in the thing. It's like, if you're on the biggest stage and you get fucked up by some computer generated blocks, I'll be fuming.
Right. I know. But I mean, we'll talk in further detail. But I really love that. I know, yes, okay, Tetris issues, but I love the idea of niche community and people coming together, geeky or otherwise, in the shared love and enjoyment of something, and people having heroes within these niche communities that the rest of the world would be like, what? Well, who is this person? That person means nothing to me. Yet that person is everything and anything to those people who are in that community. That's my initials.
Were you rooting for someone to win?
I was actually rooting for Dana.
Oh man,
Lady
she's
Gaga.
like the first one to go, I think.
Yeah,
I liked her until she had that big Mercedes thing around her neck, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Who has like a hood ornament around their neck?
Did she?
She had a Mercedes, a badge for Mercedes cars, a necklace.
Oh, that is strange. That went over my head. I liked her because she was kind of self-deprecating all the way through as well. She was like, when he was saying to her, "Oh, you just use the A button to spin it one way," and she's like, "Yeah, all the buttons are the same." He's like, "No, if you do B, it will go the other way." And she's like, I've never known this. Do you think I'm stupid? It's like she's very likable, but they all were. I liked them all. I liked Ben M because he has my name, so I was rooting for him as well. Who were you rooting for? Lead off with that, Julio.
it kind of changes. I think the first time I watched it, I was rooting for Thor, and of course, I mean, after you watch it once, you know how it plays out, so it's very different. But I guess on rewatch, it's more like, who do you feel the worst for? And I'll say this: I have forgotten, because it's been a while since I watched this movie. I've forgotten that Jonas was the winner, and so it was more of, as we were heading into the competition, I was like, I hope Harry doesn't win, because like Adam said, he kind of started getting on my nerves. He was getting a little too intense about it in the wrong way, and I remember that Thor flamed out early, so it was more that I felt really bad for Ben, because Ben throughout the entire documentary has a lot of, I mean, they all do. They all have their own philosophies about the game and their strategies, and Ben's approach of it's just chaos, man, and you just put the pieces where they go, and you just, you know, he I think he's the one that goes into the idea of you just have to let your brain take over and not overthink it. I guess they all kind of say the same thing in a way, but he is the one that has like a very like a close up where he's looking straight at the camera and goes like, just put the pieces where they fit. That's the game. And he's doing really well. He has some of the records, and so his performance on the game, he doesn't have any excuses. Like Thor can say that, well, he hadn't played in so many years, and Dana was kind of, well, she had been playing for a long time, but she'd never played against like the big sharks. But Ben has no excuse, and so it's really just like he got dealt a bad hand, and he was playing against people that were just as good. So it bums me out. You can see, I mean, it also, you see it on their faces every time they get eliminated, even without the close-ups. You just see them on the big shots, like they know that they're done. And
the
only
there's
one
the
that
whole
laughs
body
is
language
Thor.
slump.
Yeah. But Thor, when he gets eliminated, he just kind of laughs and he's like, there you go.
And then he sets out to break every record in the world in a year. He breaks it in one game.
Just give me some time.
Oh, sorry.
That's why he's laughing. Because he's like, I'll give me some time and I'll take care of it in a couple of months. So yeah, that's it. And as far as the movie itself, I knew I liked it because of just the experience of watching it. I am not too much into sports, so really. But I guess I like competition, and so it takes a lot more for me to get invested in just, you know, if there was about a soccer tournament or any sport, basketball, whatever. I mean, you know, and it always, with movies especially, you know, it's about the characters and the personalities involved, and Tetris or video games in general, like, it's a little more approachable. That's something I grew up with. I grew up playing, and I think that gives it a little bit of an edge. And then you have the personalities, and I think that yes, they're all like very likable people, very different people, and the idea of, like you were saying, but of just this community that most of them didn't even know existed, right? They were playing on their own. They maybe saw some things online, but this is the first time that they're together in a room talking about like this very specific thing. Oh yeah, you turned the piece this way, and this is my strategy is I build on the left, no, I build on the right, that's wrong. And those types of conversations you can only have with a very specific community that you're part of. And when it's all over, whether they won or lost, right, their lives are richer because they went through that experience. So I find that very just very comforting. And then pretty sure I didn't get it. If I did, I completely stopped thinking about it. But watching it now, the idea of using Tetris as a metaphor for life, in the sense that, you know, Thor says it, he spells it out. He says it's a little bit like, you know, life's not fair. Well, Tetris is not fair. They just throw pieces at you and you just fit them as best you can. And sometimes it's just garbage and you just have to move on and deal with it. But then I was thinking also the idea of making a documentary is a little bit like Tetris, because you just have to fit the pieces. You know, you don't have a script that you're following. You have an idea of how things are supposed to, you know, work out. But in the end, you get the footage you get, and then you just put that together as best you can. And sometimes it works out, like in these, you know, in a movie like this one. And sometimes I'm thinking that there's documentaries where you just don't have the footage. Things didn't work out the way, like, you know, they were following Dana. what if Dana hadn't even qualified to the tournament? Because she's like a last minute, the last 5 minutes, I think, when she finally qualifies. That was a choice that they made. They were following her. And what do you do with her footage then? Do you scrap it? Or do you just turn it into, well, this is sort of somebody who almost made it but didn't make it?
That's an interesting read on it. I never even really thought about how you could parallel it to the actual art of documentary making as well.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it with filmmaking overall, I think, but documentary specifically, because there's so much that's out of your hands.
Yeah, because you can't. You said it. There's no script, so you have an idea of the kind of story you want to tell, but you don't know what bits are going to be handed to you. You don't know how one interview is going to go or the other. One thing, and it's not a criticism of the film, but I thought, and looking at the title as well, it feels like maybe we could have had a little bit more of that. We got a bit, but not enough. I didn't think was the disorder in these people's lives. If there was a lot of disorder, and that being the commonality among them, that they would, of course, be compelled to ace a game like Tetris, which is all about bringing order and clearing things in a systematic, clean way, because their own lives are so muddled. Yeah, we get the backstory for Thor and him having gone through some hard stuff, and I think maybe it was Dana. She was talking about her dad had passed away. Oh no, Jonas. It was Jonas who talked about his dad having passed away. And yeah, I mean, I guess all the people had some stuff going on, but it wasn't, for the most part, like these weren't broken people that were finding order through the video game. They were people who were just like relatively normal, the same shit that everyone goes through who were playing it. And I mean, you can't just find a bunch of broken people and say, hey, ace Tetris so I can make this documentary. But I thought maybe that's what could have helped the documentary if there was a little bit more of that. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more into their headspaces, where they're coming from. Are they a little bit broken in some way?
You don't spend hours and hours of your life playing Tetris
if you're not broken.
No, unless life has kind of pushed you in that way in some aspect.
Yeah. Well, there's something. There has to be something that Tetris is doing for your life, for you to spend that much time. I mean, what do you guys spend hours on that you're like, all right, well, this is something that I probably...
Watching movies.
Well, yeah, there you go, right? And that doesn't mean that you're broken necessarily, but there is a quirk in your life that has led you to find fulfillment in movies the way that these people find fulfillment in video games, specifically in Tetris. And I wouldn't be opposed to a movie. I mean, I would like to see more about the regular lives. I think that just because the movie's so short and you have so many competitors, you just have a snapshot of what their lives are. And some of those are more dramatic than others, right? Like, what is really going on between Dana and her girlfriend? Like, is she really sick of Tetris, like the girlfriend? Or is she just ribbing her, right?
Yeah.
When she gets to the tournament and she's like going through that hellish 2 hours where it doesn't look like she's going to qualify. The girlfriend shows up there, like in the background, didn't make a big deal out of it, but she looks really supportive. Where I thought that was
there's money on the line. It's 10 grand. Is it 10 grand or something?
No, it's $1,000, which I guess still
was it $1,000 to qualify? And then I thought it was you got more if you won, wasn't it, or something?
It was $1,000. The check that they give Jonas is $1,000, but then there might be something else on top of the $1,000. I mean, I won $1,000 for playing Tetris. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
But I think that then I think that maybe you risk giving all Tetris players, accidentally giving the message of like, well, all Tetris players are just people that were miserable, and Tetris is the only reason that they are alive, which is, I don't think that that's true.
No, not at all.
You walk away from this saying, well, some Tetris players have had it really rough, and some other ones, for some reason, are attracted to the game. And who is it? It's not one of the competitors. I have his name here, but the guy that's the MC, who I love because he's just so colorful.
The one who gets so excited when he wins at poker and really embarrasses himself celebrating.
No, and that might be the only moment in the movie that I'm just, what is this? That's the guy from Twin Galaxies. No.
Right, yeah.
No, it's Robin's friend. Actually, maybe I didn't write his name. But
the guy who mastered the street dancing game.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And he has his costume for the tournament. He's decked out in Nintendo stuff. And he says something about how, we're all outcasts in a way. I mean, many people do it. I think Trey is also, when he's describing Thor, he says, we're all just really geeky people. It's just that Thor was the geekiest. Like, out of in as far as Outcast, he was the one that was even more so. I'm happy with just taking that. It was like, you have to be maybe a little bit of an outcast to really get obsessed, not just on Tetris, obsessed with any video game. I think that's where you find fulfillment. But yeah, I mean, that's the trade-off. Do I want a 2-hour documentary where maybe you dig in to their personal lives a little more, or it's still a 90-minute documentary where maybe you lose a couple people so you can focus a little more on those? I
think the 90-minute one is the best version of that story.
It just, you're in and out. And even then, I felt this time watching it, there's just a little bit of a lag once you're done introducing everybody and the tournament hasn't started yet. Like basically before Thor shows up, you've introduced everybody, you know what their thing is. And then there's maybe like 5 to 10 minutes where it's just a documentary talking about the game, explaining the game. And then Thor shows up, and then you're back in, because when Thor shows up, then that's the big.
When they kept
element.
talking about Thor, I was like, "Have I missed him? Has he turned up yet?" And then he was like, "Oh no," and I was like, "Okay, so I actually haven't," because they talked about him so much. And again, it's like that whole thing of like, if he doesn't agree to turn up to this, you just talked about this guy for so much, and he's gonna,
I love that he's genuinely called Thor. He's like this iconic character, and he is called Thor. That's not a nickname. That's just his name. The Jonas, the winner, he passed away a couple of years ago, and they've renamed the competition after him or something. I think.
I was going to ask you if you've done any research post the movie, because I did, just to see like where are they now, and I found an article that was and everybody is basically they went back and competed on all these years, and they did it like
then.
Almost every year. It looks like they do it, right? And I think Harry is like the grand champ now, or the grand Tetris master.
I can imagine that. I imagine he didn't take well in losing.
But I think they were all good humoured, right? There was a moment where the night before the competition, Ben says to Harry, Harry says, "I build to," or something. And Ben's like, "That is not acceptable. That's just not an acceptable way to play to me." And Harry kind of like is like, he pauses and he's like, "It's not acceptable." And I thought, oh, are we going to see a Tetris beef here based on gameplay? But he just like talked about it quite calmly. And I thought, you know what? He's not a bad guy. I didn't really think, he didn't give me an attitude. I quite liked him.
I think that's how it depends how you read that scene. I thought that he was being an asshole in that scene.
Oh,
I thought that he was.
I didn't pick it.
I don't know. I think like when they came together, especially in the competition, everyone was there to celebrate each other, and everyone was just like, "We're happy to be here. We're all just happy that we're settling this." And I think he was like, when he even said it was like, "I only want to win this." It wasn't like he wasn't happy with just the celebration.
He did say that, but that's the competitor.
But again, and I could be misreading that. Maybe I'm just misreading how aggressive he was.
Maybe we were looking for drama that wasn't there, because there's not really a lot of drama in this documentary. There's not a lot of listen to. I don't know. It was kind of there.
Adam, you said a thing about Dana wearing the Mercedes necklace around her neck. Now I realise the one thing that put me off Harry actually was when he and his brother are sat on the couch, and his brother is wearing like a really. What was the brand? They're both wearing really obvious branded shirts, and I'm like, okay, so superficial. Like you and your brother there with big brands right front and center on your shirt. I mean, they're just fine. Like Lacoste, and the other one was like, I don't know, Harvey Nicholson. Harvey Nicholson's a British thing. But that's what I mean. In a film like this, I'm looking at the labels that they're wearing on their shirts to determine if maybe this is a slightly bad guy. They're all lovely people. And Julio, this was what I was thinking when, after I watched it, I was like, has Julio picked this because the world is such a nightmarish place right now that this is a film that is so, in a fantastic way, not polarizing, not offensive, not antagonistic at all. It kind of feels wholesome as a
pure. I didn't, but I wish I had. That is a very good reason to watch this type of movie.
I mean, it is. It absolutely is. Like even King of Kong from memory, and I can't remember all the details of that, had quite an antagonistic relationship with the main guy in it. There was a real sense of competition.
There is a bad guy in The King of Kong, which is that movie is a lot more about a very serious rivalry,
a very specific rivalry, isn't it?
I don't want to go past the fact that Jonas passed away. Because I found out reading that article, and it was so weird because I mean he said he died at 39. You know, that was, and it was just
that's my age now, man.
Yeah, apparently it was not like, at least obviously I didn't go, you know, I didn't do a deep dive, but he had just moved to Hawaii with his wife. On his second day in Hawaii, he got up to get a drink and he collapsed, and it was just like a sort of a heart attack, some problem with his heart, and that was it.
Shit.
And I guess he had a Twitch channel, and the guy that was writing about it was like he had just gotten made like a moderator or something on his Twitch channel, and that was like the last interaction I had with him. And just the fact that, you know, you can just die like this, and you watching a documentary where he is just full of life. He is, I think, he's the most likable out of all of them. Probably to him and
he
Ben.
takes it the most chilled. Like even when he wins, he's just like, like most of them have gone mental. Like I was almost like, is there another round here? He's just won. He just got into the final. It was kind of very low key, and that's kind of what I mean. There's not a lot of drama that happens in this, and maybe you are looking in places where you're not meant to look, or they're not really drama.
But
to
you know
pull
what?
something out of it.
If you compare it to American movie, where the drama is this fucking guy's never going to get this movie made because so much is going against him. It's that, like, the drama of the story just comes from that. Like, this guy's helpless. He's never going to do it. I think kind of what's nice about this one is they're all so fucking good at what they do. The only drama is, well, which one of them's going to drop the ball when it comes competition time, and that's kind of fine because, like I say, I think you maybe dropped off when I was saying it to Julio. That's when the film really wins me around. It's when they hit that competition state, because it's like, oh shit, I didn't realise how invested I was in each of these players until I see them competing with one another up on that big screen. The tension of that, I would be dropping the ball. I would not be able to handle that. People like listen, 100%. And okay, forget we're just focusing on America when they're talking about the best players in the world. Like, are you telling me there's not better Japanese or Russian players than those guys? But the thing is, there have got to be Tetris players who are awesome when they're playing at home and could ace that, but could never publicly do it in front of anyone. Because you know what it's like when people are watching, you fumble. Also, there's going to be loads of them that can do it in their rooms and couldn't do it on a big screen like that. So to do it in front of people like that, and to be so in that, what they call it, the flow state, incredible. Also, there was a stat that, I mean, it's probably not true anymore, but it was like no computer can do Tetris. They said, or something like that. Because I thought that was an interesting comment. Because of the speed and the amount of possibilities that it almost needs a human brain to be like, fuck it, I'll just do it. Whereas a computer is trying to be too perfect, and you can't. And that's what Ben was saying. You can't be perfect. You just have to do it and then deal with the next one and deal with the next one and deal with the next one. Like, you can't. Yeah. By the time you've thought about what's the exact possibility, it's gone. I mean, there's probably a computer nowadays that could just play forever.
AI.
I don't know. I wonder what AI would do with it. It probably couldn't. What I wanted to ask you two is like, is there a game that you've played where you could see yourself getting this level of, I don't even want to say the word obsession, but like this focused on, I have to ace this. I think there's a level of, I'm doing it because I am very good at it. Like you probably straight away, it's that era of games where you play against each other. There's no levels, there's no story. You're playing it, like they said, they're playing against their mum, their dad, they're going down the arcade, all their friends are in the arcade, so you see the high scores and you're like, hang on a second, I'm really fucking good at this game. Like, yeah. And then you go, how? And then he goes, he finds the website, he's like, oh, I'm really like, I think that's the level of it. It's like, there's games you play it and you're like, all right, but like, if you knew you were one of the best in the world at something, you'd probably put a little bit more effort into it and like think, well, yeah, if you knew that you could win money by going up against, I mean, people do that. People do that now.
Yeah, but it works both ways, because I think that looking at your standing online now, the way that you can instantly discourage you from, you're like, there's never a way that I could have the time to get as good as these people that I'm seeing on YouTube or whatever. Like I used to think I was pretty good at Guitar Hero, and I guess I was among my friends or whatever, but Guitar Hero, Rock Band, I spent that solid 2 or 3 years of my life where that was the thing. That was the thing that I was doing when I was not working or writing or whatever. That's how I would blow off steam, and I could feel myself getting better, and I could see my scores getting better and better. But then you go to those online leaderboards, it's like, oh, this is nothing.
I'm nowhere near it.
Yeah. So I think that it requires a lot more devotion to the game than I've ever been able to give it. You know,
but also I feel like they were naturally quite good at it, because I feel like Tetris is something in your brain that is tuned in a certain way. Like you have it or you don't have it. Like everyone can do it up to maybe like level 10, but then it's like when you get into those ones, it's going so quickly. Like you don't. Was it like 2/3 of a second? It's like who can think that? Like even to move it left or right, you'd be like, let alone.
Even if it was going at its slowest speed, I think I would still fuck it up at that point. But I think, okay, well, I'll put that brick there. I'll build this well in the center. Oh no, shit! I've put that in the wrong place, and they're doing it.
I was just always
never
line by line. They're like, no, you have to.
I know. I never knew that was what it was called. Building a well. I must have done that, but I never knew it was specifically called that. There's so many cool terms that came out of it.
Also, I think it was Harry when he was describing it. He was like, when I'm pressing down on the thing, I'm already looking at the top. I'm not even looking at that block. You're looking at the top of the screen. He's getting ready to move
the next piece.
See where it comes out, and then bang. Like, he's already moved on, and then he's looking at the next bit. It's like, fuck me, man.
Did you... Okay, so I played it on Game Boy. That was my experience of it. I had it on Game Boy.
I had it on Game Boy Color. And then I remember having the app on my phone, and then like 2 years ago, they shut it down.
So that's what I was going to ask Adam, because I thought, I don't know if it had ever been a thing for you.
I mean, Tetris was always. I feel like the million different. I feel like their levels of Tetris, but like it's like they said, it's existed on every gaming platform of all time. Yeah. Like it's always been there.
But you do have to play it on some of that basic stuff. You couldn't update it. That's why it was so cool that they had all those old-fashioned TVs hooked up to the original games consoles. That's fantastic stuff. It did look. You said it looked like something from the mid-noughties. It looked like something. The documentary looked like something that was made in the early 90s, I thought. That's why I kept having to check, like, is this a 2011 film?
Well, they must have filmed it across time, because they've also waited for 4 to come back and finish. He was like, a year later. I mean, the next year I'm going to break it. So he's obviously... They've obviously filmed that content, and he's probably been going for a couple of months, and then they've gone, we'll add that in, so...
The thing that was kind of nice about it was that it didn't feel like a 21st century film. It felt like a documentary that could have been made in the 90s.
And also, it could have been made by anybody as well. I was quite surprised at the end that it had so many executive producers and stuff. I thought it felt like the guy who was kind of presenting it was his passion project.
That's what I thought.
He's really good at Tetris, but he knows he's not the best in the world, so he's gone out to find who are the best in the world and then make a competition to find out who the best of all these records. That's what and it kind of was that in a weird way. I don't know if did he make a competition?
He was the one who
brings them together. Because he messaged, I remember him saying, like, these are where they're all based. If we do it,
I'm going to bring them all together.
Here.
Yeah.
I think that the world title, as it is, their limitation, so to speak, is that they are going by the Twin Galaxies scoreboard. And well, technically, I think that's open to the entire world.
Who's looking at that?
I think it's mostly, the United States people that
It'd be
log
interesting
in.
to see the Tetris tournament now and see if it's got like a real following over years. So there's some
kid like people from all over the world.
Because the Tetris is a game, again, like you said, you don't need a fucking PlayStation to play it. It was on every level of thing. Like, some kid can play it. It's like football almost. It's like it's probably the tin can version of a Jumpers for Goalposts video game. Isn't it?
Twin Galaxies has 2 more movies where they're featured more prominently. I completely forgotten that they were in this movie because King of Kong, they are the ones organizing that tournament. They're a big part of that. They're the company that's putting everything together, and they show up. Right. And then there's this other one. It's called Masters of Snake. It's not as good as King of Kong.
I think I've seen Masters of Snake as well. That's what I mean. I think I've seen
Man versus Snake.
Man versus Snake, but it's a different game. I thought
you meant like people mastering the game Snake. I remember seeing a thing about somebody mastering Snake.
I think that's the name of the game. Snake, maybe not, but it's about
Snake.
It's a competition. Same thing. It's similar to King of Kong in that there's a guy that needs to break the record, and then there are the people that are going against him, and some of the people that you see in King of Kong show up in this one because it's the same company, it's Twin Galaxies. And I'm pretty sure the guy...
So there is a multiverse. There is a fucking Tetris multiverse then.
There's a Twin Galaxies verse, which
Excellent. I love that.
I mean, we used Twin Galaxies as a website. I mean, I never knew this was actually a thing. I thought it looked like it would be dead by now by the time I thought I look on it.
Yeah, they're I guess the official, and their characters. Like obviously you see the one Twin Galaxies guy here, and he does have that scene that I hate where he wins at poker, and I'm pretty sure he's in the other two movies. And the guy that leads the company is this very hippie-ish looking dude that has like a very very Zen philosophy about video games, I think, and so they're characters. I can see how you can make movies around that world, and maybe you can even expand it and say, well, that's just, if you're so into video games, it's likely that you're going to have this type of personality that lends itself to being documented, and being followed by a crew. And part of what makes it interesting in both those movies, this one to a lesser degree, is just the fact that the people that are with these competitors that are not so into video games, but are there for the ride, for support, right? Like here you have Dana's girlfriend and also Ben's wife. Just the people in the periphery that are like, this is cool. Anytime that they cut to like mini interviews of the friends, they're like, oh yeah, I remember the first time I saw them like playing Tetris, or the first time that I could tell that there was something special about them. And that's pretty cool. These are like regular people. And I think it serves to give you the contrast with what our competitors are like. With Thor, I think that is the biggest source of drama, or at least it was for me watching it, because it feels like that is the story that you want to see. You're right that everybody's going to be okay, whether they win or lose the tournament. But once you bring Thor into the movie, you feel like this has to lead somewhere better. Otherwise, it's going to feel like, man, that's a bummer. He didn't want to be back in the spotlight. They drag him back into the spotlight, so to speak. And then what happens?
And then he crashes out early in front of everyone.
So I totally get that it was necessary to have that little epilogue where you see that he went home and he eventually broke all the records. Again, it's like, man, and what happens if he hadn't done that? How do you end the movie?
I think he sabotaged himself. I think he always went in. I know they sort of said that
Ben says it. He's like, I don't think he wanted to win.
No, he didn't want to win, but I think it was also like, because we already established midway through the documentary that he doesn't like the public eye anymore. He doesn't like how Nintendo treated him on their little press tour with him afterwards and things like that. It's almost like, okay, I'm intrigued enough. I like this premise. I'm going to come along. I'll give it a shot, but actually, I want to be seen to be crashing and burning out of this thing so that I'm disassociated from this once and for all. But then why go home and
but that's but you've done it yourself, though. You've done it. Like, no one's watching it on your world stage or whatever you want to call it.
So this is why this is a shame that Paul isn't on this episode, right? Because Paul is, we've heard it before, he is a completionist, total completionist. So when he has a video game, if he's playing it, he has to complete it in its entirety. He's gone on our friends the Alien Effects podcast to talk about games like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption and whatnot, and just obsessively completing all the trophies, because as far as he's concerned, that he hasn't experienced the game, he hasn't enjoyed the game fully without getting that 100. If he doesn't get that 100, it's a failure. And if you bring that back to our folks here, how many of them are actually enjoying playing Tetris, and how many of them is that irrelevant? It's like, it's not about enjoyment. I just need to max out. I'm going for the max out.
I think that's why it's so enjoyable. The guy who wins it, he is just having fun. He's just really fucking good at it, and he's just there having. He is so chill throughout the whole time. He's never like, I have to win this. Even when he wins it, he's just like, yeah, look at me. It's annoying that he's the kid who didn't study for the test and yet gets an A star. But at the same time, it's like, it's kind of his purity that's like, it just reminds you this is a video game at the end of the day, not a life or death situation. It was there to be enjoyed, and yet,
and it's brought him infamy. Now, like, he's passed away, but now he's got his legacy. We're talking about him, exactly. Like, I know these people, and they've just built a legacy now, intentionally or not. It's quite beautiful. Is there something in your life that you could say, forgetting film, because we're sort of half joking, saying like obsessed film, like, is there anything in your life that you obsess about to this degree that arguably a documentary could be made about how much you are linked to this particular thing that you're like, I have to do it? This is something I'm strong for.
I don't think I'm that.
You're not that way, Wyatt. No, I don't think you are. Chilled. You're too chilled out for that.
Yeah, I don't think I am either. I think that once upon a time I could have been, I could have talked about maybe comic books or even video games back when I was younger. I just don't have the time to be obsessed about anything, these days.
I just want to do everything rather than focus on one and be the best at it.
Yeah, you want to enjoy each thing on its own merits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that if you made a documentary about me, I mean, because it's what I spend so much time on, it would be about the podcast. And but am I obsessed?
I would love for there to be a documentary about you making a podcast. Let's get this crowdfunded, listeners. We have to know for the Contrarians 10th anniversary year. We're gonna have to get that crowdfunded and find out what goes into the making.
But then you get the cameos from the Film Busters, just interviews with you guys.
This has got to happen. This has got to happen.
Do you know what? It is so good watching people who are so good at even Tetris. When they were just watching them play, I was like, this is so fascinating. Watching somebody, because again, it was after that computer state. It was like watching somebody's brain work, and it's so clear. The decisions they're making instantly, and you just see them planning out in front of you, and you're like, even sometimes I was like, there's a 4. Why aren't you going for a 4? And you're stacking it up again. I was like, you should have gone there. You should have. And then they go 2 moves later, and they've gone, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get why. It's like, I was like, the whole thing is written there on the wall, and yet they're still fucking playing 3 steps ahead of me.
That 4 bar, right? Whenever I used to play it, I don't think I ever actually did it in that way. I
remember getting it, but like,
I would put it on I'd lay it on its back loads of times.
Yeah, I would do it like that. I wouldn't be like, this is the most important. And I remember on the new ones, you can save things. I think you could hold a cube or something.
Oh my god, that's too complicated.
And I always like the T-shapes. The T-shapes were always my favourite one because I thought, oh, they're so handy.
That's unacceptable. Putting the long bar line down, we will not stand.
I guess that is unacceptable.
It was like the bit when they did it, when they showed the guy and he was putting it flat, and he was like, the guy was like, what the hell are you doing?
But he does it to complete a line.
But there was another one where he put it flat like twice, and he was like, why? I've never seen anyone do this or play like this.
There was the funniest moment in it is when Robin is being interviewed early on by the news to talk about it, and the news anchor says, "Oh, I love it when you make the long bar make a Tetris," and he's like, "Yes, I like that maneuver." That's the whole fucking point of the game. It's like really... when people are talking to you about something that you're interested in and they don't have all the facts and they try and contribute a little bit, and it's like, bless you. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. That's an aspect of the movie, of the filmmaking itself, that they're able to break down Tetris for everybody, right? Like, obviously, most people would know the basics, but then they find a way to show you why these people are special and what they do with the split screens and when they slow down and show you exactly what's happening, what's their... And you can tell like how they play differently. You can tell that the way that Ben plays is different than the way that Jonas plays, different than the way that Harry plays. And that's pretty exciting, because if you told me right away, it was like, all right, you're going to make a documentary about Tetris, you have to make it accessible to people that are not hardcore like Tetris fanatics, because you can see Robin's reaction. I love that he just went around the United States and sat down and watched these people play to qualify them. And he doesn't have the benefit that we do. He's not seeing stuff replayed in slow motion or anything. He's just watching them play as they're playing, and he can tell, oh, this is your strategy. Wow, you're doing things that I've never seen before. And that's, I can do that with other games maybe. If I see somebody playing The Witcher, maybe I'll be able to tell you, oh, that's an interesting strategy or whatever.
Interesting strategy.
Yeah, with Tetris, I wouldn't be able to. But with the movie, was able to like break it down and show it to me the way that, I could understand it. Anybody could understand it.
Like nowadays, it's all like fighting techniques in different video games, and it's like, what kind of power-ups do you have that helps your type of fighting? And you're like, then you watch somebody else do it, and you're like, oh, I've been playing this game completely wrong my whole life. Like, you are just a different level of reading this game than I am. But I don't know if you guys have ever seen the XL World Cup. It happens in Vegas every year, and it's people using Excel, and they get given a different challenge to do on an Excel thing. But
Excel,
you're not allowed
like
a mouse.
The spreadsheets?
Yeah. But you're not allowed a mouse. You only use a keyboard, so you have to know all the keyboard shortcuts to bounce all around it. And watching these people do Excel sums, and it's like how quickly, and it's just insane.
That sounds very dull.
Oh, no,
I'm not going to lie. I don't think you can make a movie out of that one.
They've got I watched a bit. It's on YouTube. It's pretty nuts. It's like it's a bit like this in some ways, but it sounds like watching people play Tetris is dull, and you're like the whole atmosphere around it. It's like that is quite interesting. It's obviously a different level of boring, but Tetris is a bit more fun. At least it's not work.
Well, the thing that was particularly fun about this whole Tetris thing and the time when they were all playing it when they were younger is this whole thing about not like how could you not take a picture of like when you maxed out or got to these levels, because it's like nowadays it just goes straight on YouTube. Everything is streamed.
Your PlayStation
and it just reminded me
saves your trophies.
Yeah,
it would save your
it's all
high
there.
score. Pit takes a picture. You don't even have to do it.
But in the past, like when I used to play the Mega Drive, like if my friends had the same game, like that, they would say, "Oh, have you seen? If you turn left here, you can access this," and it'd be like, "What? Impossible!" And I'm trying to do it, and I can't recreate it. And when you finally do it, it's like, "Oh wow, they were telling the truth." Nowadays, you can just see everything in every game by going
but then
on
you've
YouTube.
also
That
got the
mystique is gone.
Complete opposite of every time I go on Instagram. It's like, "Have you seen this on GTA?" And it's some fake bullshit that somebody's made up on a fucking generator. You're like, "Oh, you can get into this bank and rob it," and you're like, "Fuck off!" Like you're just clickbaiting, and it's now gone fucking too far the other way.
Yeah, I know.
But there is something that is so pure about simple games. Like one of the best games I played recently is a game that I was recommending. It's called Unpacking, and I don't know if you've ever heard of it. If you're bored one day, play it on your PlayStations. It's like £8. It's about 4 hours long, and it's 8-bit. And you move through this person's life, and you unpack their baby's bedroom. And you unpack a couple of boxes, and then you meet them 10 years later, and they've
I don't want to do this in real life. Why do I want to do it in a video game?
Play this game. There's no words, it's just music. But every time you unpack a different box, you find a whole new amount of stuff about them. Like they've been on holidays, what they've got. Then you unpack it again a bit. They're like 20 and they're going to uni, and then they unpack it again when they're like 40, and then you find out they've got in a relationship and like who the relationship they're with is, and like all their clothes and everything. Incredible game. It's about 4 hours long.
It sounds quite good, actually. Yeah.
Play that one. That's simple.
There's a reason behind games like that, because it just calms your mind. You deal with the chaos of life by playing those games which are a little less thoughtless.
Yeah, but
at what point I pulled up.
Adam just made me think of now more than ever, it would be so difficult for you to prove that you actually did something in Tetris if you're just sending the video. Like even back in when they did this documentary, they're talking about how people, when Jonas sent his first tape, people were like looking for glitches, thinking that it wasn't real.
That's right, yeah.
Today, you would just think, oh no, it's AI. Oh no, it's just it's a deep fake.
Yeah.
There's no way. So unless you're actually having the experience playing live, surrounded by people, they're not gonna believe you.
That makes me think of we have a game over here called FIFA. I mean, maybe you have it out there. It's a football game,
right?
And they release a new iteration every single year. And I pretty much have been buying it every single year for the last 25 years. It's my go-to game because it's so easy. You pick it up, you play for 15 minutes, or you can play for 15 hours, whatever you want. But I remember being like 12 at secondary school and like saying to I lied, right? I said, oh, and when I was playing last night, the commentator, because you hear the commentators while you're playing, the commentator said, I've had enough of this, referee. And you see the commentator run out onto the pitch and confront the referee, and the referee punches him. I just lied and told him this. And he was like, oh, no way, I'm going to try and make that happen. And I was like, yeah, good luck with that. And then like 2 days later, he came back and he was like, oh, it happened. And I'm like, right. So now this is annoying because I can't call your bluff because then you'll know that I was lying. So I was like, oh, right, good. I'm glad you had that experience as well. Now we're both just lying to each other.
If that happened on FIFA nowadays, Ben, I would actually buy the game. There's no way I'm buying FIFA otherwise, because that game has just ruined itself.
No, but see, that is my go-to, right? That game is, and I was thinking about it, like, out of all the games I played, what would it be? And it is that game over things like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead. Those are better games and experiences overall. But for something, if I just want to tune in and gameplay for a while and just get in the sort of zone. Like a lot of the times, I'm listening to podcasts while I'm playing FIFA. I don't have the sound on FIFA. I'm listening to the podcast that I'm playing because it's a really easy game.
But I think FIFA has lost itself by making itself too complicated. It was a nice, simple football game, and like FIFA up to like FIFA 15, and now there's too many fucking engines it does, and it's just too much.
Well, I know, but
that's
that's how you charge a high price point. If you want it basic like Tetris, it's going to be $199, isn't it? But
you have to make it different enough that they want to buy the new version.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you just update the squads, and that's enough, innit? There's enough people who want their new team. They'll do it.
I know. I am trying to find the name of the pieces that the Russian guy said they're called.
Tetraminos.
Yeah.
What is it?
Tetraminos.
Yeah, Tetraminos. Super cool. Like, from the moment that he said that early in the documentary, I'm like, I'm in, because you're going to get geeky about Tetris. You're going to be telling me things about Tetris that I'm not aware of. And I did. I loved all of that well stuff. Creating the wells, building to the left, building to the right, twisting this way, swinging it in at these angles. It's fantastic stuff.
I have a coffee half an hour before I play a lot better.
But see, that is actually brilliant life advice for anything. If you need to focus, you need that coffee 30 minutes before.
Coffee makes me too twitchy every so often.
Oh no, peak performance. 30
I don't have
minutes,
enough coffee in my life.
Always on an empty stomach, always black.
Oh wow, that's
you're asking for the shit.
Too strong.
No, you could have a weaker one.
There's the Apple. I mentioned the Apple film that it's on Apple TV. It's about.
Was it Taron Egerton?
Yeah, it's okay. It's not great. I wish it was a doc. It's one of those films you're like, I just wish you made a documentary about this and made everything real life rather than trying to dramatize trauma. But it is kind of a good backbone into what it was. It was like the guy the Russian guy who's on it. He wasn't allowed to take any of the. He didn't realize there was loads of income coming from it because he didn't own the game. Someone sold it or something like that. And then he got like the Russian government, the Communist Party got involved because obviously you had to split everything, and it was all that kind of politics that came with it. But
so Taron Egerton is playing the guy that calls in to the competition in this movie.
No, Taron Egerton plays an American.
Oh, it's him, isn't it?
Plays an American. It's more focused on the American guy who met the Russian guy and went, I want to make your game enormous.
Oh.
But he didn't know who had the rights for it, so they just did it. He pretended that he had the rights for it or something, but he didn't. So he plays an American. It's a bit like, The Founder, the McDonald's film. Kind of in that way of like, what's his name? Michael Keaton plays of like someone's idea and he grabs it and he makes it massive.
Yeah.
But not quite stealing it as much as he does in The Founder.
Yeah. I do not want to watch that film.
It's fairly interesting if you have a little bit of interest in Tetris.
The only time that I would ever watch it is following having just seen this, where my interest in Tetris is at an all-time high.
It has to be before you watch it, because it has to be in order, chronological order. You see the creation of Tetris, and you see all these years later.
Yeah, quite.
I wish it was a documentary. That's all. It's one of those films you're like, you didn't need to make a drama about this. You should have made a documentary, and it'd been a lot better.
Yeah, well, there you go. We got this instead. Here's the key question: If we normally pick one of the characters in the movie to be each of us, but if we were going to be a Tetris piece, which one would we be and why? Including you this time, Julio.
That's funny because at the Q&A after the movie, that was our question. Like my friends and I think it was the last question. We're like, if you could be a Tetris piece, what kind of piece would you be, or which piece would you be? And
I want to say I'm the T one because that's my favorite one.
Because it's your favorite?
Yeah.
The T1 being the stubby T, you mean? So the 3-bit and then the 1 on it.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Also, you don't know what to do with it, but when it fits right, it fits right.
Yeah, that's pretty you.
Paul would be the long one, the long thin one. Because he's quite lanky anyway in life. And also, he's the most important one when it comes to the podcast because he completes it. He holds it together.
He just slots it in and makes everything work.
Yeah, about to say this podcast would have been dead years ago without him.
Julio?
I think I'm gonna assign you and I the two remaining pieces. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna be the square because the square is pretty sturdy, pretty easy to like handle.
Sturdy.
And Ben is the L one because the L one is just like it's the most difficult to like figure out. You're like, what do I do with this one now?
I know that is true. You don't know where I'm going to land on anything.
Yeah, but once you make it fit, you're like, perfect. When it doesn't fit, like fuck, because now it's so hard to fix. If you put the L one in the wrong spot, you're screwed.
It's like the Z one as well.
Yeah,
that's
the 2 and Yeah.
Yeah, that little Z one is a cheeky blighter. The music. Well, Julio posted something on Instagram yesterday. The original Tetris music, which was sadly missing from this film, is one of the most iconic songs of my entire life, because it is so kitted out to early nostalgia. That soundtrack, and it evolved as you got into some of the more advanced levels, but that original Tetris music, nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. And it does sound very Russian, so I imagine it's based on some Russian...
Well, I know they had a Kremlin, didn't they? I never knew that before, but then the Kremlin took off when you died or something. It was like blew up. It was like a spaceship. It was like, it's probably from around probably the space age, I think. All right, here's my last point on this. Have any of you had what you called it when you shut your eyes and everything's Tetris?
Oh, what do they call
playing
it?
Too much Tetris.
The Tetris nightmares?
When I played it a couple of times, like 4 or 5 hours, and you're just like, you shut your eyes and everything's a Tetris square.
I haven't had it burnt in like that. I certainly haven't done... What's the thing they say in the movie where he can see it in the shower and stuff like that?
I've never had it that. It's more when you shut your eyes and your eyes goes black and then you can see them like almost like floaters or whatever they are.
Yeah.
I've never had it that bad, but I remember thinking, like, who is it? I think it's Jessie that describes it when she's packing and they're like, oh, you're Tetrisizing or whatever. Like, I remember back when I was much, much younger. I mean, I played Tetris on PC, and it was with no music. The first time I played it, it was because the way that we had set up our computer, it didn't. Whenever you played games, it didn't play music, and so you can imagine when I first heard the Tetris theme, like playing on Nintendo, I was like, oh no, couldn't focus. Yeah. But back on PC, there was probably a stretch of several months where I was like, oh, I'm playing Tetris, and it was fun, and the whole family was in, and I remember my aunt once mentioning it, that she would like go to sleep and see the pieces, and me thinking, okay, I'm not going through that, but I remember going through regular life and thinking of the game, and that's different. You're not imagining the pieces, but you do something long enough consistently and it just creeps up into your brain, I guess. So it's never been as bad as what they show in this movie or what they allude to in this movie, but
Like I said, I was playing like God of War for like 4 hours, and I went outside and I was just like, everything I saw, I was like, I could like grapple that or like smash that, or like that's got to mean that.
I said it on one of the last episodes. There is this genuine scientific study which has said like once you've been playing the game for long enough, your brain can't quickly decipher between real life and the game world. So it does for, I don't know, however many seconds it is, if you snap out of it immediately, your brain has had this really jarring experience because it believes that was its world and now it's in this world. Which is also why I get this, I get what feels like a big instant depression in the immediate seconds of a game turning off. And I don't know if it's like, oh, I've just wasted a bunch of hours. Or if it is just that reset of, that was all so fucking vibrant for my brain. It's being bathed in all of this shit, all this stimulation, and now that's being pulled away, and I have to go and engage with stimulation again rather than having it washing over me. It's not a real depression, but it's like a kind of crash that comes when the game.
Also, your brain's probably like, and relax.
Yeah,
because you probably sit there. The whole thing when you sit there sometimes playing a game, you don't blink or something. You just stare. Like it's probably one of the few times. It's like I remember sometimes again, like you said, you listen to a podcast or music or something else. Maybe if you've got a low level game and you're like, I've listened to an album and I couldn't tell you one single song that was on that album because I've not actually. It's been in the noise. It's been background, but like you're so. But
well, I think this is why what it all comes down to for all those players. Ultimately, whatever it is, whether they're trying to deal with something or whether they just like enjoy the game, the beauty of it is that it just brings some focus and probably some Zen mindfulness to them.
It's meditation for these people as well. It's that whole thing of this is my world, I'm happy here.
And if it ain't Tetris, if it's something else, if it's film, if it's beer, if it's comics, if it's music, all of these little things that make you happy and that you just want to put your energy towards, it's all a good thing.
I think there's something pure about it. It's like if you asked, what's his name, Jason? I forgot his name now. I always call him Jason.
Jonas.
Like, honestly, at that moment before he died, unfortunately died, all these people who died, would you regret putting all those hours into Tetris? I think nearly all of them say no. Like, I think it genuinely gives them like, they don't think they wasted the day. They'd like love it so
Jonas
much.
seemed pretty well adjusted about it, and the fact that he had a Twitch channel around that time, so I think he just built up on as far as like the video game thing. Harry, there's a moment where he already quit once and then he got dragged back in, and I think there's a moment where he says, I'm hoping that this is the last of it.
He says the geekiest, possibly, there's a few geeky things that are said in this movie, but I think he actually does the geekiest thing, which is, he says when he maxed out, he got the bottle of Johnny Walker that he'd had for 2 years and poured out shots. And I'm like, that is pretty fucking geeky, man. And it's like, Johnny Walker, whiskey up, that's a tough drink as well. Like, it doesn't go hand in hand with
it was like
Tetris.
1 o'clock in the morning or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. He told his friends. They did.
And he was like, we had a pretty good time that night. And I'm like, that also sounds geeky, because that makes me think you didn't. That makes me think like it wasn't heavy at all.
They probably did, though. They're probably so fueled on Red Bull and all monster drinks that they can just...
I know.
Also, the one person I've related was like, when she said, if I ever complete this game, I'm never turning off the TV and I'm never turning off that console again. And I'd be like, I'd probably do exactly the same. It reminded me, I know you probably don't want to talk about it, Ben, but was it Seinfeld when he has the episode of the arcade and he wants to be able to move the arcade?
Oh, yeah.
If he unplugs it, his core will be deleted.
And then he has to be the Frogger with the extension lead. Peter Stormare is one of the guys who's helping him get it across the road as well. I'm very happy to talk about that Seinfeld episode. I like it a lot.
It doesn't involve...
It doesn't involve Jerry that much, yeah. Well... Closing thoughts. You got some anything else that we haven't covered that you wanted to bring up?
I'm gonna bring it back one more time to Jonas, because that was the thing. So I was done with the movie. Like I said, I'm gonna look up what happened after. You know, if anybody. My main concern was like, I don't want to like say something that turns out to be insensitive on the wake of, you know, what happened in the next 20 years or however long, right? Like, what if I'm like, oh yeah, these guys were so much fun, and then one of them has been arrested for
the worst thing they near schools.
So then I click on the different pages that came up, and I was reading, and it was like nothing really that was worth bringing up here. Not because it's just because it's kind of what you would expect. They kind of stayed on that same path, and then I saw the link to the thing that Jonas had died. So I took a screenshot to send it to my friend that we watched the movie with. So first I sent him the screenshot of or the picture that I posted on Instagram, which was just me before I started the movie, saying, well, I revisited this classic today. And then that led to me finding out this sad news, and I posted the screenshot of Jonas passing, and it was our group text. And a different friend posted, he just texted, he's like, I think he wrote like Tetris for Jonas or something. And I thought that he was just like making like a joke or something. But then he kept going. He posted another message saying, yeah, Jonas was one of the last real gamers that would actually like move the pieces instead of doing the vibration. You know, the thing that Thor does. I guess some people, like my friend, consider that like not pure Tetris playing.
Proper Tetris.
Yeah. And I was like, what? Oh, I'm like, so you actually know? Have you seen the movie, or is this just you know about Jonas from a different way? And he's like, no, you know, this is my friend Jordan. We bring it up a lot because we do his top 100 movies. I would pick one every now and then on the show. And his wife Kinsey, they're great friends. They're much younger than us, and. But anyway, he's like, no, Kinsey and I, we follow the high scores on Tetris. Every now and then we'll look at the tournaments.
Oh, wow.
He just said, we're weird like that. And it was like, not at all. We watched a whole documentary about it. We really liked it.
That's a beautiful world, man. Like, all of it is... That's what I meant when I was saying stuff about it being niche up front. I mean it in the most positive way in terms of like the little communities that are set up behind and for things that people feel so passionately about that they commit their time, their energy to it, to meeting up, to doing something around it, whereas other people could just go, yeah, that's a thing that they might consider it a waste of time. It's actually a beautiful thing, and it's beautiful that people can have such divisive takes as to what constitutes proper Tetris and what doesn't.
Yeah, I told him you need to watch this movie, and I sent him the link and everything. So
oh my god.
So yeah, I am glad. Like I said, I hadn't watched this movie in a long time, and I was happy to revisit it, and I think it holds up. I'm curious about scores, but I think that overall we all seem to have had a pretty positive experience. So
I think it's positive. I think maybe we're going to get the lowest first. So let's hear it, Adam.
It's one of those weird ones. Again, I don't know what to score it. Like, it's a really tricky one to put a score against, I think, in my opinion, especially when you're going to put it in our leaderboard and then can rank it against all these other films that, like,
yes, sir,
are proper films. Like,
this is our arbitrary game, though.
I know. I feel a bit hard maybe saying this number, but I feel like over time it'll probably be the number I'll settle on. I feel from this talking about it maybe pushed it. It might have gone higher, but I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a very high 7.
I thought
maybe
it
could
7.
have been an 8, but I just it's such a weird one. It's like but I'm very happy we've had this discussion on this podcast about it, though.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit more generous than you. It's a very, very solid 8 from me. I enjoyed it, as with all great documentaries. If you have no knowledge of a thing or some knowledge of a thing, but you can watch it and enjoy it on its own merits because of how it shapes its narrative and tells its story and sucks you in, brilliant. And to do that with Tetris, little boxes on a screen, is quite the achievement. So yeah, very strong 8 from me.
I think to dilute this documentary to a score, I think, is what I'm struggling with. It
I know.
It doesn't feel like it should have a score.
I know.
Like if I came out and be like, I watched this really good documentary, I really enjoyed it, but to dilute it to a score, I think
you got to give scores. You got to give scores.
I feel like it's one of those things that not everything needs to have a score, not everything needs to have an opinion on.
All in on the scoring.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, but this is probably like the opposite of Paul. Everything needs to have a score. But sometimes I like you just can enjoy shit without fucking giving it a score.
Only so I'm not scoring other things. I wouldn't score other things in life, but movies must be scored. They must be.
God, that's the most hardcore support for scoring that I've ever heard. Usually you talk to people, they're like the other way around. They're like, I don't want to score it. I can just tell you it's good. Watch
I know.
it.
Yeah. Those people, they're very non-committal. Watch
That's
them.
what I'm literally saying to you right now.
I know.
I would recommend this documentary to so many people if we came up in a conversation about it and remember it and talk about it. But I putting it to a score is not where.
But Julio, we know. Well, come on. What's your number?
So it's not what you think. I had it on Letterboxd at 10 from like a long time ago. Obviously, I didn't have a Letterboxd when I first watched the movie, so that was just when I logged it from memory. In rewatching it, it's like I love it, and I could watch it. I literally watched it in a loop because I watched it first, and then I had it playing again because I realized I didn't have questions for the quiz. So I was like, I'm just gonna have it played again, and as stuff comes up, I'll write down. So it's such an easy watch. The characters are very likable. But there's also just a little bit of what we're talking about earlier. I think that there is a documentary that hits a little harder, that shows you a little. I don't need them to have tragic backstories, but maybe a little bit more backstories, so that, I mean, it's the cards it's the pieces that they received on their game of Tetris, right? Like the guy that wins is the guy that has, in a way, if you don't know that he passed away much later, it's the least dramatic ending in a way, other than, he was really likable. So I'm glad that he won, right? But if you were writing this as a movie, as fiction, Thor would be more involved in that climax, or the fact that he flames out would be followed up on more and would have some sort of payoff. And here it has a payoff, but it's like the epilogue, right? So it is. You can't help that things played out the way they played out. And I forgot to call out, I love that when it's just the final, it's Harry versus Jonas, they have those close-ups of Thor watching the game, and you can tell that he's fully invested. The thing he says, I was invested on whoever was watching. that's what I wanted to win. So it's a lot of good stuff, but I think that there is some stuff that maybe I wish that when it was over, I would have more of a gut punch about anything, which I think I did the first time I watched it. When that reveal at the end, the epilogue, that Thor actually broke the records at the end, I remember that flooring me because, I guess I was not expecting it. And this time I was, so maybe that's why it didn't hit me so hard. So anyway, all this to say that I've rewatched King of Kong, and King of Kong still hits me the same way as the first time. that they lucked out. That story, the way it plays out, is the way that you would write a movie, you know. And so King of Kong is like a 5 out of 5. And this one, I'm struggling. It's like, I love it as a 5 out of 5. I think that trying to be as objective as possible, the way that Ben wants people to judge movies, it's probably an 8, like a really high, solid 8. But there's also part of me that says it actually deserves to be a 9, because the thesis of the movie is what you do with the pieces that you're dealt. And what they did with those pieces is the best that I think they could have done. So I'm going to land on a 9. That's it. I've talked myself into a 9.
9 is the score. Yeah.
And also it goes, I don't know the money behind it and that, but it is a passion project. It is like American Movie. It is somebody just going, I'm going to make a documentary about fucking Tetris and try and get all these people together. And he did it. And that's ultimately what the documentary is. That's how it started out. Yeah. And he's ultimately done it. And for us to go watch it, you're like, yeah, fair fucking play to you. You've just wanted to make a documentary about it. You've done it. And as Ben said earlier, fucking fair play to you people. Keep making these bloody films, because people should. Yeah.
Keep telling your weird, kooky, quirky little stories about your communities. That's what we want to see. Well, we don't know what Paul has given it, but
I don't think he watched it, has he yet? He's been too ill.
I don't know
He's
if
on
he's
his deathbed somewhere.
maybe he watched it on the deathbed today, but at the moment it averages out at an 8, and assuming maybe that
we'll do it when Paul gets back. We're just going to run ourselves down a cul-de-sac straight away.
I know. Well, very fittingly, the first film that it would have to go up against is Stacey from Rock Leopard's The Hunger. Tony Scott's The Hunger.
I haven't seen The Hunger, have I? So
no,
it's going to be you voting against yourself.
Yeah, but we'll play this game when Paul is back and find out. It's got a lot of competition. There's 20 films in that deck, but interestingly, Julio. Oh no. Okay. So there's another film that's an 8 that you've been on the podcast to talk about, and you also gave a 9, and it was Wildlife. Would you say this is better or worse?
It's so difficult comparing documentaries to regular movies.
It is. I do agree.
I'll probably give Wildlife the edge today. I might feel differently tomorrow, just because of what I just said. Wildlife actually had like such an emotional gut punch at the end that I'll probably give
Wildlife I think Wildlife is potentially your greatest pick on this podcast.
It balances out the fact that you give Cats a 9. You've ruined that whole aspect of the
That's totally living up to his name, isn't it? That's just some nonsense. In Julio's defense, he gave it a 7, not a 9, but that 7 is criminal. That 7's criminal.
It's boosted it. It's never going to be touched again. It's never going to be down where it deserves to be.
That's great. It's your fault, Adam, for bringing it to the show to begin with. So
it was my fault for bringing that to us for a lot of reasons, let alone just...
Yeah. Adam is responsible for that and our worst ever film, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. But... if we're talking about Julio adding scores to things, I believe you have come loaded with a score for one of our films here to change up the fucking leaderboard anyway.
Yes.
What do you got? What do you got for us, Julio?
It's a recent episode. It's a movie that I love the episode. I love the discussion, but it was mistreated when it came to the scoring. Because
I think I have a bad feeling this is not something I'm going to like.
The difficult piece didn't land properly on the Tetris tower, and now I have to do my best to fix this. So I'm gonna give a 9 to...
Nice metaphor, though.
Speaking of competitions, Warrior, I think, deserves to sit higher on your score.
One of my points to say was, when you were talking about this, is 4 coming back into that would have been like Warrior. When what's his name, his brother comes back. If you were writing this as a film, you were writing this as a theatrical film, he would have done that. He would have come back and he would have beaten all the odds and won it just from having more grit and determination. That is the sport. Yeah, when you were saying about documentaries and writing it, that's the film it would have been.
This was a superior film to Warrior by all accounts. Like, as a sports movie, it was more interesting and there were more twists and turns than anything in Warrior. But respect your 9, Julio. I'm wrong. Everyone else is right on this film. I'm clearly wrong, but I believe in my wrongness. So you're giving it a 9, you say?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So what that means is that Warrior, which currently sits at... Oh, man, where even is it?
It's going to be high. It's going to be top 20.
What did you and Paul give it?
I gave it an 8. I think Paul gave it a 9 or a 10. I think you gave it a 7.
Yeah,
so
it'll be an 8. So it's bang on an 8 then, isn't it? So Warrior is... Right, let me just do this from scratch. So for Warrior, the scores are 7 from me, 10 for Paul, and you gave it an 8.
And
so
9
it's
now.
7, 8, 9, 10, which averages out at... Hang on a minute. Jamie gave it a 9. Wait, sorry. This is even wilder than I
Jamie's
thought.
pick, wasn't
because
it?
Jamie gave it a 9. So
Let's do this when Paul's
it's
back.
8.6. No, it's a brand new, unique score.
Okay.
That no one has ever given on the podcast. It's an 8.6. Bang on. Because that's 7, an 8, 2 9s, and a 10.
Is that weirdly the film that started off this year as well? That's a 2011.
It's 2011.
Wow,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fresh. It's moving.
Yeah. So it goes in above Smoke. No, that's Smoke. Smoke's such a beauty. But rightfully and blessedly, directly below Kindergarten Cop, which, yes, thank you. But Julio, you have pushed that up to within grasp of the top 20. It's 11 short of the top 20, but that is very high indeed on this list now. Just proves how wrong I am. And that is why I am the L in the Tetris box.
Yes. There you go.
I do keep thinking of you at the moment, Julio, because Evita has just opened up in the West End, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
and there's so
really?
many people who keep going on and seeing it, and I keep sitting on Instagram as like an advert and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, God.
Have you not heard what she's doing for the balcony scene, Julio?
No.
So it's Rachel Ziegler who is playing her, and so everyone's in the theatre, and when she comes to deliver her address to the people of Argentina, she actually comes out onto the balcony outside the theatre and sings to just Londoners out in the street, and they film it from across the road and beam it onto a screen to those inside the theatre. So, and people are going mad because people are saying, "Wow, we've paid all this money for the tickets and we don't even get to see one of the key songs." It's like, this is the beauty of this theatrical experience. She's bringing it to the people, just like she did in the
Also,
fucking
just
story.
go there next night and watch that bit from outside. And
Yeah,
then you've watched it all.
I think that's so cool, though, eh? Like, just people.
That's
Adam
cool.
would
I
hate
did not
it, but-
know that Snow White had moved on already to play another
Yes.
iconic character.
Yeah, totally. It's going down a real treat, apart from that controversial aspect. Well, okay, and that brings us to the end of the Tetris. That's our max out screen for this podcast. So I guess we're left with nothing to say but to thank
We're on
Julio
the
for
level of
coming.
death now, whatever it is.
Yeah,
It's getting
what
too
is
quick.
it?
Everything's coming at us.
What was it? The screen of death? No, it wasn't the
Death
screen
screen
of
or
death.
whatever it was.
That screen. Yeah, it is that
Death
screen. Yeah.
Which I never fully understood. It just
It
meant
just goes too quickly that you can't.
yeah,
like,
you can't.
You
but
can't
you could
think.
get out of the death screen, right? There was.
Yeah, because that's what he said. He was building the well in the
could move
middle,
them-
so because you can't move them to the edge, you don't have time
So
to
they
get
go
to the
straight
edge.
down.
You just have to
You
let
have to
them
get them
fall.
in the middle,
Yeah.
which is against what all of their premises were, because you always build left to right.
But also, if you're Thor, because he was able to move the pieces faster than everybody else, you also had a
Yes.
bit of an advantage in how you place them.
Yeah. I don't know. We were just wrapping up, but did they intentionally not tell us? Do you think they intentionally didn't tell us the traumatic thing that happened to Thor that left half of his skull embedded in his head?
I assume it was
It
a
felt
car
like a choice.
accident. I mean,
Yeah.
doesn't-
Okay. Yeah. He doesn't go into it. I just wondered if maybe there was something more.
He's like, I don't want to talk about this on camera, and they're like,
Yeah,
fair
which
enough.
is more than fair enough. So I'll leave it there. I won't even dig into it.
It'll come for you now.
Come on, Thor. Let's go, baby. Julio, thank you as always. We appreciate you. We appreciate the podcast. Now, I'm positive everyone knows, but in case we got some listeners on this one, we might have some Tetris community.
Yeah,
that
maybe.
are checking this out. Your podcast, The Contrarians. Where can we find you?
You can find us at The Contrarians. The website is wearethecontrarians.com, and that has links to everything. But yeah, we're on Threads, Blue Sky, at Contrarian Prime. And obviously, you do a search on The Contrarians, you'll see the little tomato looking at itself in the mirror. That's our that's our podcast. What we do is we just argue against Rotten Tomatoes score. So if a movie is fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, we'll pick it apart as if it was bad. If it's rotten, we'll praise it as if it was a good movie, and then we tell you how we really feel. Right now, we're in the middle of our summer event, We're doing movies that were nominated and or won MTV Movie Awards during the 90s. So it's been a lot of fun, just full of nostalgia every episode. We opened this recording with jokes about Independence Day. That's the most recent episode we posted. We rushed to get our Independence Day episode to drop on July 4th.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun to watch that movie and talk about that movie and the president in that movie and the way that America behaves in that movie versus present day America and present day American president and so on. We get a lot of mileage out of that.
And you also dropped the Bodyguard episode just before that, right? Because I just finished listening to that today, which is very good. I haven't seen that film in fucking years. And now I'm going to have to go back and watch it to see Kevin Costner be ridiculous. That song is not the banger that you and Alex seem to think it is, and the rest of the world, I'll have you know. It's one of those dreadful songs that somehow...
What song is it?
I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston.
The Whitney Houston song from Bodyguard?
Yeah.
Sing it.
Sing it. You think I'm going to sing that? What a horrendous thing to hear in the ears. That song.
And I thought that was from Titanic, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, come on, mate. I think that was, you said in the episode, didn't it not win the best song?
No, it won best song.
Oh, it did win best song. Oh, okay.
Yeah. At the MTV Movie Awards. Yes. I don't think it won at the Oscars. At the Oscars, it was Aladdin that won. A Whole New World.
Hard to Be the King. Which song from Aladdin?
A
Whole New World.
You the world.
When they're on the magic carpet.
I think that one is better. Yeah.
Reluctantly.
Yeah, I think that's better. That is lovely. I can't sing it, which is kind of where I land on if a song is good or not. If I can't
but you
sing
will
it,
sing Purple Rain.
Yeah, of course, man. Come on. Well, cool. Yeah, so please do go rush check out those episodes now, immediately, as soon as you finish this. Julio, thank you so much for coming, brother. We appreciate
Thank you for having me. I am so glad that we finally have a pick from me where Adam is on the recording and he liked the movie.
I think I probably gave it on par with Holy Motors.
That's true.
And I probably think I gave Wildlife an 8. I think I was quite nice on that film.
Yeah, you liked Wildlife.
Well, don't ruin the bit, Adam. It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm don't want to the stigma. We'll just focus on Age of Innocence.
Don't ruin a good story with facts,
Evita.
Please.
Yes.
So, listeners, before we sign out, we have one more film coming up in 2011. It is my pick, and it will be a dark end to 2011. Do your research. We are going to Matthew McConaughey's Killer Joe, and we'll see you on that episode in a few weeks' time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Filmbusters.